And who are your 3 favorite heroes, 3 favorite villains, and 3 favorite stories?
You mean just
across
apart
the
from the
board?
books
Yes.
and movies I've mentioned?
Yeah, across the board. Yeah. Specific heroes, villains, and stories.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't have 3. I just have 1 of each.
Okay, sure.
My favorite superhero is Batman, and I'll tell you why. It's because Bruce Wayne doesn't really have any superpowers. He's just a regular dude who has used the power of his mind and his physicality to do some interesting things with his life. And I think a lot of people forget that. A lot of people forget that Batman doesn't actually have superpowers. So I really appreciate that about him. And my favorite villain is his arch nemesis, the Joker. The Joker from the comic books, not the Joker from the movies. The Joker from the comic books is such a fascinating character from a psychological perspective, because Batman and the Joker are 2 sides of the same coin. Everybody has a superhero and a supervillain within them. And depending on the choices you make, you're either being one or the other. But quite apart from that, I just love the Joker's sense of humor.
So how is a Joker opposite to Batman? I thought there were 2 different kinds of people, but you're saying that they're 2 sides of the same coin?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, ask yourself this question: why doesn't the Joker ever get eliminated? He just keeps coming back. And it's symbolic of many different things. Like I just said, everybody has a superhero and a supervillain in them. It just depends on the choices that you make. At every moment you're at a crossroads. You can go left, you can go right. So, for example, right now during COVID-19, Andrew, anyone who's running a business needs to get money from their clients and customers, right?
Yes.
Are you going to be self-centered and self-absorbed and demand to be paid what you're owed? Or are you going to practice compassion and empathy and think of the big picture? Are you going to tell a lie, or are you going to tell the truth? I mean, at various moments throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year, you're being invited to be the hero or to be the villain. And I read a very fascinating and thought-provoking quote, and it said, I hope I say this correctly, it said, when you're young and naive, you're cheering for the superhero and you're blaming the supervillain. But as you get older, you start to understand the villain. The villain has a backstory. The villain wasn't born that way. He or she was made that way. There's a reason why the Joker is never eliminated. There will always be that energy exchange in the world, I believe. There will always be, and it's not even a battle between good and evil. It's just an acknowledgement that you have some good days and you have some crappy days. I love the complexity of those 2 characters, because I tell you what, Andrew, nobody is perfect. Everybody, even me, I have my dark moments. And that was something in my early 20s I used to be ashamed of, and I used to try and hide it away and try really hard to be this good, decent person, and feel so much shame, for example, if I ever got angry or irritated or said a sharp word to someone. But now I'm older and I understand the villain. Life happens. Things happen. Yeah. There's no darkness without light. Yeah, night, day, up, down, left, right. Happy, sad. There's no darkness without light. But I also just love the Joker's smart mouth. He's just so. There's a scene. My favorite Joker in terms of movie character. My favorite Joker was Heath Ledger. The late Heath Ledger executed that role so brilliantly. And I lived in Australia for a long time, so Heath Ledger is somebody you'd hear about a lot in Australia. There's a scene in, I think it was The Dark Knight. Yeah, Heath Ledger was the Joker in The Dark Knight.
Yes,
and there's so many thought-provoking things that the Joker says. When he says things like, the city needs a better class of criminal. And I laugh every time I hear that line, because I agree. I mean, my goodness, if you're going to be a dodgy politician or a dodgy, come at me with something interesting. Let it not just be basic greed, for example. Let it not just be, I want to own everything. I want to run everything. That's boring, right? So I just find he's the things he says reveals somebody who's thinking. Of course, he's using his abilities in an unhelpful and destructive way.
Yes.
But the I just want to emphasize, there's a reason why the Joker doesn't die. That energy will always exist on the planet, and it's about how we choose to engage with it. Do you want to be someone who pretends it's not there and you sugarcoat everything with positive thinking? Or do you want somebody who focuses only on the negativity? Or do you want to be somebody who is evolved in your thinking, and you look at Batman, you look at the Joker, and you go, yes, I am both those things.
Wow.
Both those things exist. Both those things are present in everybody. Yeah, nobody is perfect. Even our modern day real life heroes. Andrew, whenever some scandal appears, I'm so much less judgmental. I used to be very judgmental. I'm not as judgmental as I used to be, and it's something I keep working on. I just go, yep, that was not a smart thing to do, and you're going to get what's coming to you. But I don't pretend that I'm better than others, and I'm this innocent, pristine angel. I'm not. I'm human.